The glass doors slammed open. Mr. Kane walked into the office like a king entering his palace. His black suit was perfect. His watch was more expensive than most people's car. Right in front of everyone, he pointed at one person. Daniel, the poor office boy holding a tray of tea. Mr. Kane shouted, "Are you blind?" The whole office went silent. The teacup on Daniel's tray shook. His hands were shaking. His face turned pale. "One drop on my shirt," Mr. Kane said, pressing on each word, "and I will throw you out on the street." Daniel whispered, "I'm sorry, sir." But it was too late. The humiliation had already started. Everyone was watching. If you saw this in front of your eyes, would you speak up? Or would you stay silent like the others? Daniel had joined the company only 2 weeks ago. He worked as the office boy. He made tea. He cleaned desks. He ran to the nearby shop when someone needed something. He was poor. Very poor. At lunch break, he sat alone near the back door of the office. He ate dry bread with a little chutney from a plastic box. His shirt was clean but old. The sleeves were a little too short. Every day, he watched the rich employees laugh, eat food from expensive places, and order coffee for fun. He only drank water. That morning, there was an important client meeting. Mr. Kane, the CEO, was more angry than usual. He shouted at staff, threw files on tables, and kept saying, "This company must not lose this deal. Do you hear me?" Everyone was scared. Daniel was given a simple job. "Serve tea. Don't mess up," the receptionist, Grace, told him softly. She was kind. She knew Daniel was new. Daniel nodded. "Yes, ma'am." He prepared the tray. 6 cups of tea. 1 cup of black coffee for Mr. Kane. He wiped the tray again and again. Inside the glass meeting room, Mr. Kane sat with 3 rich clients. Their suits were perfect. Their watches shined. Their shoes had no dust. Outside the glass, all the staff watched carefully. Everyone knew this deal was big. Daniel took a deep breath. His hands trembled a little. He pushed the door slowly and walked in. The room was silent. Everyone stared at him. He walked around the table, placing cups one by one. His heart was beating fast. "Don't drop it. Don't drop it," he thought. When he came near Mr. Kane, his hand slipped just a little. The tray tilted. Only a tiny drop of coffee jumped up and touched the corner of Mr. Kane's white shirt. Just one tiny brown mark. Mr. Kane looked down. Then he looked up at Daniel. The air changed. The clients watched with raised eyebrows. The staff outside froze. "You idiot!" Mr. Kane shouted. Daniel froze in fear. His fingers tightened around the tray. "I told you not to mess up," Mr. Kane said. He grabbed a tissue and rubbed his shirt angrily. I'm really sorry, sir," Daniel whispered. His eyes filled with tears. "It was just a mistake." Just a mistake?" Mr. Kane laughed in a cold way. He stood up. He was tall. Daniel had to look up to see his face. "Do you know how much this shirt costs?" he shouted. He turned to the clients. "Sorry, gentlemen. This is the problem when you hire people like him." "Sir," Daniel's voice broke. He could feel all the eyes on him. His ears were burning. His cheeks felt hot. He stared at the floor in shame. "Look at me when I'm talking to you." Mr. Kane snapped. Slowly, Daniel lifted his eyes. A tear rolled down his cheek. "People like you," Mr. Kane said, pointing a finger right at his face, "don't belong in places like this. You belong on the street, not in my company." The clients shifted uncomfortably. Grace, outside in the reception, covered her mouth with her hand. She wanted to help, but she was scared. "Get out," Mr. Kane said. "You're fired." The word felt like a knife. "Sir, please," Daniel whispered. His lips shook. "I really need this job. My mother is sick. I'm the only one who—" "I don't care about your story," Mr. Kane replied. "I am not running a charity here." "Security." The security guard at the door stepped forward. One of the clients, Mr. Carter, spoke softly. "Mr. Kane, maybe it was just an accident." The boy. But Mr. Kane raised his hand. "No. This is my company. My rules." Daniel clutched the tray to his chest. His tears fell one after another. He did not cry loudly. He cried in silence. The guard took the tray from his hands and pushed him gently toward the door. As Daniel stepped out of the meeting room, everyone in the office looked away. No one wanted to meet his eyes. No one wanted trouble. He walked to the small locker where he kept his bag. He opened it with shaking hands. He put his old tiffin box and water bottle inside. Grace came near him. Her eyes were wet too. "Daniel, I'm so sorry," she whispered. "This is not fair." He shook his head. "It's okay, ma'am," he said in a broken voice. "Maybe this is how life is for people like me." His words were heavy. He looked back one last time at the office. Through the glass, he could still see Mr. Kane smiling with the rich clients, as if nothing had happened. Daniel walked out of the building into the hot sun. Cars rushed by. He stood on the sidewalk, holding his small bag. He wiped his tears with the back of his hand. He took a deep breath and whispered, "I won't break. Not today." But fate had already started moving, and something shocking was waiting ahead. If you were in Daniel's place, what would you do after being humiliated like this? Walk away forever, or fight back in your own way? The answer was coming sooner than anyone expected. Daniel took a crowded bus home. He stood near the door, holding the metal bar. Every time the bus hit a bump, his shoulder hit someone else. But his mind was far away. His head replayed the scene again and again. The shout. The finger in his face. "You belong on the street." He bit his lip so hard it almost bled. When he reached his small neighborhood, the streets changed. No tall buildings. No glass doors. Just narrow lanes, hanging wires, and children playing with a broken ball. He walked into a tiny one-room house. The fan made a slow, tired sound. On the bed, a thin woman lay, coughing softly. His mother. "Mama," Daniel said, forcing a smile, "I'm home." She tried to sit up. "Why so early today?" she asked. Her voice was weak. Daniel's heart dropped. He didn't want to tell her. He didn't want her to worry. They gave a half day," he lied. "Big meeting. I finished my work early." He set his bag down. He checked the small bottle of medicine on the table. Only 2 tablets were left. His mother noticed his red eyes. "Your eyes," she said. "Have you been crying?" He turned away quickly. "No, no. Dust in the bus, that's all." He walked to the small stove and started boiling water. His hands still shook a little. In his head, a voice kept echoing. "You don't belong here. You belong on the street." He gripped the handle of the pot tightly. Then he sighed. "I can't tell her. She will lose hope," he thought. At night, when his mother slept, Daniel stepped outside. He sat on the broken step. The sky was dark. A few stars peeked through. He opened his old phone. There was one unread message. It was from Grace. "Daniel, I know what happened was wrong. I am so sorry. Please don't give up. You are better than the way he treated you." A single tear rolled down Daniel's cheek as he read her message. He typed slowly, "Thank you, ma'am. I will find another job. I have to. For my mother. He sent it. Then he opened another app. Something very few people knew. Daniel was good with computers. He had learned from free videos, late at night, in cyber cafes. He had made small designs and logos for local shops for a little extra money. He had a small dream. One day, he wanted to make his own online business. Something simple. Something that could grow. But dreams need time. They need money. And right now, he had none. The next day, Daniel went from place to place asking for work. Small shops, offices, restaurants. He heard the same words again and again. We will call you. Leave your number. We don't need anyone right now. By evening, his legs hurt. His throat was dry. He sat on the steps of a big building in the city center. He held his CV in his hands. The edges were bent now. Just then, a black car stopped in front of the building. The door opened. It was Mr. Kane. He stepped out, talking loudly on his phone. I don't care how you do it, just fix the numbers, okay? He snapped. If this deal fails, heads will roll. Daniel's heart jumped into his throat. He quickly looked down, hoping not to be seen. But fate had other plans. A small girl, maybe 8 or 9, got out from the other side of the car. She ran around the car, holding a small backpack. Daddy, hurry, she laughed. We're late for my class. Mr. Kane waved his hand. Yes, Mia, yes, he said, sounding tired. Just give me a minute. Suddenly, Mia's foot twisted on the curb. She slipped. Her backpack flew from her hands. She let out a small scream. Daniel jumped up without thinking. He grabbed her arm before she could hit the ground. Careful, he said. Mia blinked in shock. Her eyes filled with tears. Mr. Kane turned around. What now? He stopped when he saw Daniel. For a second, their eyes met. Recognition. You, Mr. Kane said. His face hardened. You again? Daniel let go of Mia's arm gently. Are you okay? He asked her softly. She nodded slowly. Thank you, she whispered. Stay away from my daughter, Mr. Kane snapped. He pulled Mia to his side. He looked Daniel up and down with disgust. So this is where you ended up, he said. Begging on the street? Daniel's hands curled into fists at his side. But he stayed calm. I'm not begging, sir, he replied quietly. I was just sitting. Mia looked at Daniel. Her young face was full of confusion. Daddy, he helped me, she said. Mr. Kane ignored her. He took out his wallet and threw some notes on the ground near Daniel's feet. Here, he said. Take this. Buy yourself some soap. And stop hanging around rich people's places. The notes landed near Daniel's shoes. People on the sidewalk began to stare. Some whispered. Some laughed softly. Daniel felt as if the whole world was watching again. He looked at the money. Then he looked at Mia's sad eyes. Slowly, he shook his head. I don't need your money, sir, he said. His voice was firm this time. He left the notes on the ground. He picked up his CV, straightened it, and turned to walk away. Behind him, Mia tugged on her father's sleeve. Daddy, she whispered, why are you so mean to him? He helped me. Because people like him will never be like us, Mr. Kane muttered. You'll understand when you're older. But Mia did not look convinced. She kept watching Daniel until he disappeared into the crowd. What neither of them knew was that someone had filmed the whole scene on their phone. A stranger standing nearby. Camera open. Recording everything. And that video was about to change everything in Mr. Kane's life. The next morning, Daniel woke up to the sound of his phone buzzing again and again. He rubbed his eyes and looked at the screen. He had many messages. From unknown numbers. From friends he had not talked to in months. Is this you in the video? Bro, you're trending. Look at this. His heart raced. He opened one of the links. A video started. Shaky camera. Crowded street. He saw himself sitting on the building steps. He saw Mia slip. He saw himself catch her. He saw Mr. Kane come closer, throw money, and insult him. The comments were full of anger. How can a father behave like this? He humiliated a kind boy. People like Daniel are more human than this rich man. The video had millions of views, shares, comments. On another app, Daniel's name was trending. Some people called him the kind office boy. Others called him the boy with dignity. He sat there, shocked. He had never asked for any of this. His mother walked in slowly. "Daniel, why are so many people calling you?" she asked. He looked at her. He knew he could not hide the truth anymore. "Mama," he said softly, "I lost my job 2 days ago." She sat down on the bed, breathing slowly. He showed her the video. As she watched Mr. Kane insult him, her eyes filled with tears. But when she saw Daniel refusing the money and walking away with his head high, she smiled through her tears. "That's my son," she whispered. "You did not bow your head, even in pain." He wiped his face. "But Mama, what now? I still don't have a job." Just then, his phone rang again. Another unknown number. He almost cut the call. But something told him to answer. "Hello," Daniel said. A calm voice replied, "Is this Daniel?" "Yes." "This is Mr. Carter," the man said. "I was one of the clients in Mr. Kane's office that day. Remember?" Daniel sat up straight. "Yes, sir. I remember. I saw the video," Mr. Carter continued. "But even before that, I saw how he treated you in the meeting room." Daniel's chest tightened. He remembered the coffee drop, the shouting, the word fired. "I run my own company," Mr. Carter said. "We value respect. We value character. I want to offer you a job here. Not as an office boy." Daniel blinked. He thought he heard wrong. "Sir, what?" "I saw on your CV that you know basic computer design and online work," Mr. Carter explained. "I want you to join our digital team. We will also support your mother's treatment. In return, I want one thing from you." "What, sir?" "Never lose your kindness, even when life gives you power." Daniel's throat closed up. Tears fell freely now. He looked at his mother, who was watching him with hopeful eyes. "Why, yes, sir," he said, his voice shaking. "I will not forget." He ended the call and hugged his mother gently. "Mama," he whispered, "things are changing." While Daniel's life started to rise, Mr. Kane's life slowly began to fall. At Kane Industries, it was chaos. The office was filled with whispers. People stared at their phones. The video had reached the company too. Hashtags were trending. People were calling for a boycott. Clients were angry. The board of directors held an emergency meeting. One of them slammed a laptop shut and said, "This is a PR disaster. We cannot have a CEO who humiliates poor people on the street." Mr. Kane sat there, eyes red, tie loose, hair messy. For the first time, he looked small. "It was just a boy," he muttered. "People overreact." "It was not just a boy," another director said firmly. "It was a human being who helped your daughter. And you threw money at him like he was trash." The world saw it. There was a long silence. "We have decided," the chairman said. "You will step down as CEO for now, until things are fixed." if they can be fixed. Mr. Kane's heart sank. The title he loved so much, CEO, was slipping from his hands. He went home late that night. The big house felt empty. He walked into his study and threw his watch on the table. Mia stood at the door, holding a school drawing. "Daddy?" she asked softly. He looked up. His eyes were tired. "Yes, Mia?" She walked in, her little shoes making soft sounds on the floor. "Is it true?" she asked. "Did you lose your job?" He sighed. "Something like that," he said. She bit her lip. "Is it because of how you treated that man? The one who helped me?" Her words hit him like a slap. He turned his chair to face the window. His voice was almost a whisper. I made a mistake." There was a long pause. "Daddy," Mia said quietly, "you always tell me to say sorry when I hurt someone. Did you say sorry to him?" The room felt even more silent. Mr. Kane closed his eyes. He remembered Daniel's shaking hands, his quiet tears, his words, "I don't need your money." "No," he whispered, "I didn't." "Then maybe," Mia said, "you should." Her simple words cut deeper than any board meeting. That night, Mr. Kane could not sleep. For the first time, he saw himself clearly. Arrogant, cruel, blind. He had treated Daniel like dirt. And now the world was treating him like a villain. "Is this karma?" he thought. He picked up his phone and searched for Daniel's name. It didn't take long. Articles, videos, interviews. Poor boy with rich heart. The humble hero. Mr. Kane felt shame burn inside him. His eyes filled with tears, something that almost never happened. The next day, he asked around until he found Daniel's new workplace. Mr. Carter had moved fast. Daniel now worked in a bright, modern office. He had a simple desk, a computer, and a badge with his name on it. When Mr. Kane arrived at the building, his hands were actually shaking. For the first time, he was the one who felt small. At the reception, the lady asked, "Sir, do you have an appointment?" He swallowed. "No. I just want to meet one of your employees. His name is Daniel." She checked the list. "Yes, Daniel is on the 3rd floor," she said. "Let me see if he's free." A few minutes later, Daniel walked toward the lobby. He wore a simple shirt and a new pair of shoes. Nothing fancy. But he looked more confident. When he saw Mr. Kane, he stopped. The air between them felt heavy. "Sir," Daniel said slowly. Mr. Kane stood up from the waiting chair. His eyes were wet. His voice was soft, very different from before. "Daniel," he said, "I wanted to talk to you." Daniel's face showed many emotions at once. Confusion, old pain, caution. They walked to a quiet corner. For a few seconds, neither of them spoke. Then, something happened that would have shocked anyone who knew the old Mr. Kane. He bowed his head. "I'm sorry," he said. His voice broke on the last word. "I was cruel. I was arrogant. I treated you like you were less than human. You saved my daughter. And I insulted you in front of everyone." A tear rolled down his cheek. His hands were shaking now. Daniel watched him. A part of him still remembered the humiliation, the pain, the long nights of worry. But he also saw a broken man in front of him. A father. Not a king. Not a god. Just a man who had fallen. "You hurt me, sir," Daniel said quietly. His voice trembled. "Not just with your words. With your eyes. You looked at me like I was nothing." "I know," Mr. Kane whispered, "and I will never forgive myself for that. But I still wanted to say, I am sorry. Truly." There was a long silence. Daniel took a deep breath. He looked down at his hands. They were not shaking any more. "Sir," he said, "when you fired me, I thought my life was over. But because of that, I got this job. I got a chance to grow, to help my mother better. Maybe that's how God works." He looked up again. "I forgive you," he said slowly, "but I will never forget." Mr. Kane nodded, tears in his eyes. "You don't have to," he replied. "I just hope, one day, I can become the kind of person my daughter thinks I am." Daniel gave a small, sad smile. "Then start today," he said. "Start by never treating anyone the way you treated me. Not an office boy. Not a cleaner. No one." Mr. Kane nodded again. "I will," he whispered. As he turned to leave, Daniel called out softly, "Sir." Mr. Kane stopped. "Thank you," Daniel said. "Not for what happened, but for coming here and saying sorry. Most rich people never do that." For the first time in many days, Mr. Kane felt a tiny bit of peace. He walked out of the building slowly. No crowd, no camera, no staff around him. Just one man, learning a hard lesson. And Daniel? He walked back to his new desk. He touched his name badge. He thought of his mother's smile. He thought of the millions of strangers who had supported him online. He whispered to himself, "I may be poor in money, but I am rich in something they can't buy." If you were watching this story till the end, ask yourself, do you judge people by their clothes or by their heart? Money can buy power, but it cannot buy respect. Never treat anyone as less than you, because one day life will show you who truly has the richer heart.